10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a roadmap update. Some of you may have already seen the update that we pushed to the white paper, and I'm just going to be going through that with you guys, discussing some of the things we've added, including some of the stuff you already have seen that was added to the game and the project that wasn't originally on the roadmap, and also showing you some cool stuff that we're working on. So thank you very much for joining. And apologies for no other guests because I couldn't convince anyone. No, everyone had work to do, unfortunately. First thing is first, if you guys check Mars4, let me just drop you guys the link here. Wait, I just forgot what the link was. We're off to a great start, guys. So, where is it? There we go. I've just posted the link to the white paper for anyone who hasn't seen. The updated roadmap has been added, and what we did, apologies for the using Photoshop as a slide so I can draw and stuff. So on the left is the old roadmap, and on the right is the new one that we just posted. There's no major changes, just lots of stuff has been added that wasn't originally in. Like as you can see, Q3, we got way more done than what we were originally pitching doing. And I don't even think we included ClickBeetle release in here. Because at the end, we were saying, like, what's the point of just including a product release? Like, we have so much actual content and functionality that got done. So let's just go through and talk about some of the new features and stuff that were added. So in Q3, on the roadmap, we had mining exploration on the MCC. We had the initial version or an update version of the multiplayer sandbox, and the ClickBeetle release, all of that which was done, and I think was actually done early. Like, someone correct me, but I'm pretty sure mining and exploration on the MCC, like, that was in the previous quarter. The sandbox update that allowed more construction, adding additional resource, stuff like that was done in this quarter, and the ClickBeetle release also, I think, was actually done ahead of schedule. Then getting into the, obviously I'm not going to touch on every single feature here, like most of them you guys already know about, but a few that I'd really like to draw attention to and kind of reinforce what I've always been saying, which is that we're developing this game together, and you can see evidence of that in the roadmap of how much more we got done than like was originally promised in the roadmap. Because what we do is, if we are ahead of schedule on something, I guess getting off topic here, but we use an like agile Scrum style of development planning, where we plan out what we're going to get done, and we break it into sprints, which are normally about 2 weeks. And then in that sprint, if we finish everything that we had planned in that sprint, instead of just starting the next task early, that little bit of extra time we have, we invest into polishing or doing improvements on things, or doing like adding in stuff that we want to see in the game, or more often than not, stuff that the community wants to see in the game. So stuff like the jetpack functionality was something that you guys were requesting. You guys kept asking about a way to get up and down faster. And then even after we added in the jetpack, then you guys were wanting to be able to build with it and be able to like lock your height and stuff like that, which was also added in. So like, that's the kind of thing we fit in whenever we finish a sprint early. And that's why like the large milestones that are here, like the multiplayer releases and stuff like that, like that's not moving up in schedule, it's staying where it is. And as we are ahead of schedule on things, we get more stuff in. So this goes for stuff like the jetpack and the 2 versions of the jetpack. And then the performance optimizations that we did we did them about 2 months ago, but I think they went live in the patch last month, or may have been the month before, I can't remember now. But like those optimizations, those weren't something on the current like docket of tasks, because as I mentioned before, it's kind of better to leave optimization for the end, because then like in between, after you optimize, you may change and add new things, which then unoptimizes shit, and you have to do another optimization pass anyway. So may as well leave it to the end. But as you guys are all playing the game right now, and performance was less than stellar, we wanted to, like, in some of that extra time after a sprint, we put some more effort into optimize and make sure that your experiences playing even throughout these development stages was enjoyable. We also added other stuff like the in-game journal and breeding on the MCC. We completely overhauled the UI. Like, there was a lot of other little tasks in here, but another cool one that I want to mention is the 3D land view on the MCC. I'm not sure if you guys have played around with that much or looked at it, but you can see your lands now in 3D. Like, it's just a small tile, but it has the first level of like relief map and stuff showing the height of the terrain. And that's the first major milestone executed and fully working of the the Mars surface terrain generation that we're going to be using. I made a horrific mistake and I forgot to mute every single one of my chat programs. Everyone is writing me, including people like Mac, saying like, do you have these papers? Are you ready for the AMA? Like, yeah, I'm on. I am live right now. But yeah, I appreciate it. My fault I didn't mute it. Sorry. Lost my train of thought. ADHD is a bitch. Yes, 3D lands. So that is the first functional step of the land generation that will eventually will continue expanding into you having your own fully 3D mapped version of your land in the 3D game, where you're building and upgrading stuff and every single land is unique. That's like the first public deliverable on that pipeline. And that's pretty cool to get in there. And the fact that we see it on the MCC, once again, that was not something that was originally part of that pipeline, but as we had it bit ahead of time on a sprint, we were like, hey, this is a cool thing to add to the MCC so the community can see it and be able to interact with and play with it a little bit. The only thing that we didn't complete in Q3 that we were planning on is I wanted to expand on the agriculture system more. We want to add in trees, growing of trees. The way we're going to be adding in trees is quite cool, where you start with a seed that you can plant in just a normal planting. I just forgot what it's called. In dirt, you can put the seed in any of the plant farming machines, hydroponic machines, whatever, and then it will grow to a certain size, like a sapling, and then you need to harvest it from there, and then from there you can plant it into larger and larger vessels, so that the tree can continue growing, and each vessel will cap the tree's growth. So if you want to have like massive pine trees and stuff, you can, but you'll have to have like a long pipeline of vessels to go through before the tree grows to that height. And we would first implement this with stuff like fruit trees, lemons, limes, oranges, stuff like that. And those trees would also provide oxygen. So if you have enough of them, you could actually offset the use of an oxygen generator with just having a crap ton of trees inside of your base. But yeah, that's something we didn't get to in this quarter. Like, we still have a bit of time left in the quarter, but it's unlikely we'll be able to finish that in time, because we're investing a lot of time right now into getting the next version of multiplayer up and running. And this next version of multiplayer will include all the features that we have in single player right now. So building, mining, processing, all of the different machines, everything. So all of that will be on multiplayer. That's the next version. And right now we're wanting to get that launched as soon as possible. That honestly, it may even come in this quarter. But as I said, like if we're a bit ahead on that, I would rather not rush it out a few weeks earlier, but spend a few more weeks like doing QA and polishing and stuff. But that is already working. We're just going through QA right now. There's some bugs on like vehicle spawning and stuff like that. And then after that is done, after that milestone's done, the next stage will be getting better connectivity with the MCC and having like, then we can deprecate the current system that you're using to connect your NFTs from the MCC and the 3D game. And it will just be like you log into the game or validate yourself and connect to the MCC through the 3D game. And then it will, like all your assets and stuff like that will be persistent on the server, and you'll be able to see them and interact with them a lot easier instead of copying over the code all the time. That was kind of just a temporary solution for the single player 3D game, like testing environment. Some other cool things, the My Empire homepage is a cool thing that's being added to the MCC. Here's a mock-up of it. And the idea is this is kind of an initial page that kind of lets you get an overview of your empire, like what your vehicles are doing, how explored your lands are. Also, we'll be adding achievements in. I think did we add achievements? Yeah, achievements. We'll be adding achievements onto the MCC as well. And we'll also organize like patch notes and stuff like that all onto this page. This is just a mock-up of it. At the moment, it's entering production, and we'll be ready in Q4. Oh, something else cool in the MCC that we'll be adding. One sec, let me share a different screen. Structure train. Share screen. Yes. So this is cool. We'll be adding in the character customization, the same as we have in the 3D game, onto the MCC. Right now, this is just the initial prototype of it, where we're just mixing between the legendary first generation colonist and the male breedable colonist or bred colonist. So yeah, we will be adding that in, and then you can be using your 3D colonist however you customize them, however you want to customize them to be your like presentation avatar on the MCC, which I think will be a nice touch. There is some more that we have planned for this as well, but I don't remember what that was exactly. So I don't want to say, because I said like this is not my department. This is the other guys who pulled off most of this. Like I got the files and stuff, but they did an awesome job. So that's cool. And what we will probably go expanding this view as well. So if you that actually brings me on to the next thing, that another thing on our roadmap is we'll be introducing pets. You may have seen some of the leaks already, but with the introduction of pets, then that may also be added into here. So like if you own a pet, you would show up on the screen as well. It's kind of like a cool 3D representation of the assets that you own that you feel best represent you. So like how you customize your colonist, your pets. Maybe we'll let you be able to pick a vehicle to stick in the background. We'll see about that. I said this is still early on in development, but just showing you guys what we're working on. Let me get back to the professional Photoshop. Where's my Photoshop? Oh, window. There we go. So, in addition to what has been discussed so far, we also have flying vehicles. We'll be adding them in, or adding the functionality for them in Q4 as well. I can't tell you much more than that on what form they will take, because we're still like playtesting and deciding there. But that is, I think, going to be a very fun, different, unique addition, and will offer a very different experience than what you already have from vehicles. Personal ATVs as well, which is probably not the best way to phrase that. But what that's referring to is we want to add in stuff like quad bikes and motorcycles, dirt bikes, stuff like that. And the utility of those like light, fast vehicles will be coming in with some of the next gameplay demos and prototypes that we want to be messing around with in multiplayer regarding PvP combat. So we foresee the personal ATVs playing quite a large role in that. And I'll share more about that as that development kind of coalesces. But yeah, that's where they'll be fitting in, where they will be fitting in. I think that covers most of the roadmap updates. Missions and quests. I guess that was already noted here. We postponed missions and quests on the MCC to focus on multiplayer. As I had discussed a few times already, that first multiplayer sandbox version was done by the MCC developers who started that process rolling. And that's why some of the MCC features were delayed earlier on. Oh, my arm has disappeared. Were delayed earlier on to get that first sandbox version done early. And I think that covers most of the roadmap update. There is more stuff coming as well. Some cool partnerships and stuff that obviously don't fit on the roadmap, but they'll be announced probably pretty soon. And I think you guys have already seen the leaks of the Cybertruck and the first pet. There will be more of those to come shortly. And yeah, I mean, this isn't, I'll get to everyone's questions in a moment and stuff, but the idea here was we want to just make sure that every time we do a roadmap update or make any changes to roadmap, we always do a live presentation of it so that you guys have any questions, they can be asked, and we can explain rationale of why stuff happened, if anything major changed. Like in this case, there wasn't any major changes. Like all multiplayer development stuff, it was still stayed on the same track as it was before, but new things being added, explained what they are, and in this case, explaining why the trees and agriculture expansions were not finished and probably won't be. In fact, we should probably move that into Q4. But let's have a look at questions now. Okay, so we can close, stop screen sharing, and actually, wait. I'll screen share this because it looks really weird having me so big. Creeps me out. So while going through the questions, is there any information on the roadmap bill for 2024? As we right now focus on at minimum a quarter ahead, we will be polishing out the roadmap for 2024 as we get a bit nearer to it. My Empire homepage view, what functionality will be added? I've already discussed that where I showed it to you guys. Maybe we can change the name of the Empire that will be visible on the map view of Mars. That's a great idea. Have you posted that in the ideas section? I haven't heard that being discussed with the MCC team, so it's not in development, but definitely post that on Discord because that's a great idea to be able to like set your Empire name. And I guess in this case, kind of like your wallet name. Well, I guess that you can actually do because you can currently already rename yourself. And I guess at the moment, like yourself is your Empire. So I'm not sure if you're referring there to being able to have like a empire, which it can involve like multiple wallets worth of land. Uh, but that's a cool idea. You should break that down and put that in. Uh, not break that down. You should explain that idea in the Discord ideas section, because that's, I think, quite a cool one. What is land upgrade functionality? That will be more features built into the MCC to allow building on lands and stuff like that. It's an expansion of the construction functionality that wasn't worded great. Will it be possible to open additional slots for lands with 2 slots? I think so. Sorry, that I don't actually have an answer for right now. That's kind of outside of my field, but I believe so. I know, like, around the office, I have been hearing that discussed a lot, so I'm sure that there will be a way to do that. But exactly how, I don't know. That's, as I said, that was kind of out of my area. Flying vehicle functionality. Does this mean we'll soon be able to build ships that fly through the air? Yes. Although ships, I don't think would be the right word. This is more stuff like low to the ground flying vehicles, helicopters, airplanes, those sorts of things. What exactly the first flying vehicle isn't decided yet. We're prototyping a helicopter and a kind of hoverboard thing, and we'll see which fits best with like realism and fun, and also game balance. How many initial collections are planned? For land transport, we now have 4.5. I guess that's referring to how many collections of flying vehicles. We don't have a plan. Like, we don't have a set number for that. And also for ground vehicles, we will be adding more. As I think that 4.5 number probably doesn't include the Cybertruck. So we have Carapan, Carcanda, Shire, Click Beetle, and then Mad Beetle. So yeah, that's 4.5. So there's already one more land vehicle coming. But yeah, we don't have a number for the flying vehicles at the moment. As we get nearer to it, we will share more information. When steaks, Nick? I just had steak yesterday. I had on steaks. Has anyone ever mashed, like, in a pestle and mortar, or I guess you can like puree in a food processor, ginger, and then marinated the steak in fresh ginger juices and bits for like 12 to 24 hours? If you haven't done that, try that and then post in Discord like how amazing it is, because it's fucking amazing. You can take a really cheap cut of steak with like 0 fat, no marbling, nothing, and leave it in the refrigerator for 24 hours with fresh ginger, and then like grill it, and it's fucking amazing. I've like discovered a whole new world of cooking steaks, because the problem is, like, you have some like really nice steaks in terms of marbling and being super tender, like a sirloin or something like that, but they're not that flavor rich. Like, if you go to some of the areas like a strip steak or something like that, or a skirt steak, they're a lot less tender and more chewy, but they have a lot more meaty flavor, which I really like. So it's kind of this like balance before. But if you marinate in ginger for like 12 to 24 hours, the enzymes in the ginger start to break down the muscle fibers a bit, making it way more tender. And so then you get to have this really nice, like, best of both worlds, where you have the flavor of a tough, like, working muscle steak, like a skirt steak or something like that. And at the same time, or even like an eye round or something. And at the same time, it's really tender and juicy. Oh yeah, someone also just mentioned here, what about the getting on Epic Games? Yeah, that was another thing that's actually a really good point. That should have been on the milestones, like getting on Epic Games. But yeah. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, like, Mars4 is on the Epic, or is coming soon on the Epic Games Store now. Oh, the when stakes was a question under the pets functionality. So because the first pets will be bulls, they want to know when can we kill people's pets to make steaks. That's actually I completely missed that. I got really excited. The ginger thing, like it's blown my mind. I tried it for the first time 2 days ago, and now it's so much fun. Um, Will pets be living beings? The first two pets that are planned at the moment or that are in development at the moment are both cybernetic, although the second one really is trying hard to be a living being. I'll leave it at that. He'll be launched around end of October, beginning of November. That should be some hints of at least the theme. But after that, we're not against living beings as pets. We just haven't. We're still debating that because Spiros is a huge cat guy, and I'm a big dog guy. So like we both really like the idea of adding dogs and cats into the game, but like we'd have to give him a suit or something like that. We're kind of undecided on how to go about all of that. But I think it'd be fair to say like yes, there will be living pets eventually, but when we kind of solve the design and scientific problems around it. Will these are these pets just to hang around so we don't get bored, or will they have useful properties? For example, repair base and gnaw on wires. They will all have useful properties. The first one that we're introducing is a pack animal. So you can load up inventory on the bull and they'll follow you around, and it basically gives you way more inventory capacity. So that is super useful to anyone who's ever gone out mining on foot, especially, or like through areas that are hard to reach with a vehicle. That's going to be quite useful. But yeah, all pets will have some amount of utility. Will have utility and be good at different things. The bulls specifically, you can also send them out to mine on their own. Especially on the MCC, you'll be able to use them kind of as you do a mining vehicle. But they have a very, very short runtime. Super cheap to use though. But you can also use them there just if you need a little bit of a specific resource, you can just send your bull out to get it instead of sending a colonist or a vehicle. Personal ATVs. Question regarding that. Does this mean that we'll be able to create them ourselves in any way? The ATVs, yes. There's plans that some of them will be craftable, as in like a super low tier vehicle to help players move around. We do want to make some of those craftable by players. So there won't be NFTs, nothing that's sold, just stuff players craft on their own very easily and cheaply. But what exactly that will be is undecided. At the moment, we're leaning towards kind of a dirt bike. But once again, that's undecided right now. That's just kind of what we're generally leaning towards. We want to buy blueprints with Mars4 wallet balance. Is it possible? It will be added in soon. I'm pretty sure. I just overheard a conversation about this with the MCC development team like a few days ago, and as I understand, that's something that's being added into their task list. So I'm not sure when it's going to be done, but probably soonish. What can we buy with Binance Pay? I'm not sure. I'm going to be guessing. This is totally a guess. Everything on the MCC. And it'll just be another payment method integrated into the MCC. But yeah, I actually haven't overheard much about that from the MCC developers, so I can't comment too much on that. Will we be able to withdraw Mars4 to Binance Pay? Probably not. Like the withdrawals of Mars4, just because I don't believe Mars4 are listed on Binance right now. The withdrawal of Mars4 has already, I believe, is live or will be live very soon. I leaked that a couple weeks ago. That's already well in development. It may be live already, but that will just be normal withdrawals to any wallet of your choice. Okay. I own 2 plots. Another person's question is, I own 2 plots of land. Now I have one question. If I acquire two slot lands, then I would, wait. Oh, I have a 2 plot land. I have a question. If I acquire 2 more 2 plot lands, then I will have a 6 plot land. Would you be able to build there, or do I need to buy a 6 plot land for that? To be able to build on the MCC at the moment, you need a 6 plot land that has been fully explored. However, I'm not the 2 plot lands, there will be more coming for them in development in terms of first being able to unlock additional plots on them and also functionality for building. However, I'm not sure, like, I can't comment on exactly what that is, but at the right now, the only way to be building on the MCC is with a 6 plot land that's been fully explored. But it won't be like that for always. There is changes coming in for that. However, I'm not sure exactly when or what they will be. As I bought it separately, then the lands will not join together and will be in different places on the planet, right? Or would they be together? Yeah, each land that you buy, whether a 2 plot or a 6 plot land, it has a location somewhere on the globe. You can actually find that if you go in the MCC and find your land, and there's like a view on globe button. And you can see where they specifically are. So they will be in different places. If you own like 3 2 plot lands, it doesn't merge them together into one 6 plot land. You keep those 3 separate 2 plot lands, which has advantages because different areas on the globe have different resource concentrations and values. Like not different value necessarily, but access to different resources. Will Gen 3 colonists be coming out this calendar year? One sec. I think so. I just want to check the production pipeline. Yes. Yeah, Gen 3 colonists will be coming out this year. At least there are more colonists coming out this year. I'm not sure if they technically are Gen 3 or not, what their names are. Can pets breed or build? The first 2 pets that are coming out cannot breed. Pets being able to help build, that's an interesting idea. How would that work? You should post your idea of how you would imagine pets being able to help you build on Discord. I'd be very, and like at me, because I'd be very curious to see like what ideas they have. I'm not against pets being able to help you build, but at the moment I don't see how they really could. But yeah, and pets. These first pets are robotic, so they cannot breed. In-game mini game of a rodeo where you can ride the bull for 8 seconds. Okay, that's actually hilarious. That would require a lot of animation, so like it would be pretty expensive to develop. So I don't think we're gonna do that, at least not for a little while. But that's fucking hilarious. I love that idea. Let's see. Are there? Oh, is that? I think that's Max who's posting questions. Have you reposted all the questions from chat? Oh, it's Harvey doing that. Awesome, thank you guys. When will people be able to build using resources on their own land? Right now, Patricia, who just asked that, right now on the MCC, you can build using resources that you own on your own land, but you just need blueprints, which at the moment are distributed via events and other things like that. But we will be introducing a way to gain blueprints, not just from events, so some way to purchase them, and also more ways that we're giving them away to the community. Game and player, yeah, I'll answer your question again quickly. That multiple two-plot lands don't combine into one, so they would stay independent, which means at the moment, buying multiple two-plot lands, you wouldn't be able to build on them, but you will be able to, in the future, you will be able to unlock additional slots for those lands and build on them. But for the moment, to build on the MCC, you require a six-plot land with every plot having been explored. But as I said, that is something that will be changing. That's just as it is for the moment. And I think that covers everything. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me. And if you have any other questions or comments or ideas, as always, you can find me on Discord. Just at me. And yeah, thanks you guys for joining, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Mars. Cheers, guys. Have a good evening. Thank you for joining again.